From curious participant to active member of the Art Hive community, this is my story. To make a long story start somewhere, 5 years ago, as I was drawing my way towards my artist self, having been investing in a daily art practice as part of my recovery from cancer and cancer treatments, I started to feel the need to share, although I didn't yet understand what I meant by that. So my story can start with this standing figure I created when I attended my very first art hive, La Ruche d'Art Yélema. It was at the library where we were invited to join for free art making like mandala drawing and worry doll making. And so curious, I participated and was surprised by what I had made. What started as a worry doll looked more like some kind of wise warrior doll. So this experience sparked joy and such an enthusiasm for more of this that when I got home, I researched these art hives, intrigued and not sure why I didn't already know that they existed. Um, but I knew that I wanted to create something like that. Uh, I registered as an independent graduate student at the Concordia course, Community Studio, Methods and Materials, that summer, and started going to other art hives, like the Mordecai Richter Library Art Hive that Pandora hosts, and where she taught me very patiently how to crochet. Um, And so I did my course in June at the same year at the Saint-Henri Art Hive. And I really love this picture of Dr. Janice Timbotis with the qualities of liberation arts, which is, to me, speaks volumes to the work we do in the archives. I was so privileged to do my on-site volunteer work to gain experience at Le Milieu, seen here in the center, in Le Milieu. And this is a picture of the garden at Ruche d'Art Saint-Henri. So just to say that these spaces in themselves foster agency just by the way they present materials to people, and that we are invited in and to just like uh, experience our art making our own way amongst all the people that are attending. During my class, I made more standing dolls as I created them from recycled materials. What was important to me, I found, was that they were able to stand on their own, which was like a logistical, artistic constraint, but it really like helped me to navigate through my own path into going back into the world, because I had been like quite isolated by my circumstances. Although art was there for me, I was like really inching my way at the same time towards my own artistic identity, but also towards the community and trying to find my place in the world again. Um, a peaceful warrior I was to become, all filled with these new possibilities. Um, but then in 2018, we moved. All the projects I had for creating an art hive near the botanical garden or somewhere in Rosemont suddenly were on halt, and we moved that year. So 2018, we're moving and training a new puppy. Um, but lo and behold, the art hive community is always there, even if I wasn't participating. It was still going on and still developing. And in 2019, um, there was this art hive symposium at the new art hive at Loyola campus at Concordia. And so I attended this event in a new momentum, like renewing with my intention towards the art hive. The first activity that we did that Friday night was an open studio process with Pat B. Allen, just to say how rich the the experience we can have in this milieu. I learned from the creator of that process about setting an intention and then art making and then witness writing. And I'll just share this small story which like encapsulates for me the notion of agency. Um, as I was approaching the table where the materials were, I overheard someone say about the covers of this album, saying, "Oh, this is quite ambitious," and setting it back down. And so curious again, I looked at it and I said, "Oh, that looks nice." And I took it and I said, I'll try." And then I create this album. I filled it with fabric and paper, and I just stitched it together. And it was a short time, and I just like created joyfully this piece. And my friend Sylvie, who is here today and was sitting beside me at this symposium, said, "You did all that," and I was such filled with such like a surprise that she would say that she would recognize my work as something that was like in itself complete, full. And then through the creative writing process, what transpired was, why am I attempting such an ambitious project? Because I can. So my whole journey through the art hives, and here at the symposium, they set out papers and said, ask for what you need from this community. And so I asked for collaborators with confidence that I was going to put forth my project. And then I did. I was a member at the community garden at really in my neighborhood, and so I just started bringing materials. And then after with the confidence I got from the symposium, I went with my new collaborator to the organization, and it was a good time for that because they heard about art hives and they were ready to install one in their space. So they asked me if I would collaborate on a grant writing project with them, and so I did. Although the first collaboration sort of fell through, I had like new collaborators, and then Pandora showed up in the garden for the rest of the summer, and it was like sort of an organic start to this citizen initiative that I proposed to this organization. Parallelly, I started investigating art therapy. I took an online class, Creative Wisdom, which taught me that I was on the right path. And I can show you this image, which I love, about the art hive in the garden. And we can see in the background the community weaving that we made. We started that summer, we completed in the fall, and I just brought home. It's here on my wall. Um, and then the organization said, "Well, we're doing a big to-do for the new season. Would you like to have a little table to do an art hive event?" And I said, "Sure." And we did life flowers, and it was a multi-generational. A grandmother with her grandson, and some teenagers were there, and people came and went, and it was just like so natural to be there. And so I was invited into the space while we're waiting for the grant. Why not just like start doing it? Why not? I'll do it's a pilot project. And so it began in the Salle d'Orimène at la Maison d'Aurore. And I set up all the materials like a buffet, and everybody just like grabbed what, like I tried to recreate like the art hive aesthetic and way of doing things. Um, and it was great. I just loved it, and I kept continuing to participate in different events. And this is the Meet Me at the Mall grand opening. And you can see me here with my short hair beside Sandra, curious as always, and just like absorbing all this experience and the community. And finally, we got the grant money, and I was so excited, and I was able to share the riches, if you like, by co-facilitating with Pandora in that space. And it was, we had a lot of momentum to start this new adventure. And then life said, not so fast. COVID struck and said, nope, you're going to have to plan B that one also. So So I did, went back to my art practice, and then Pandora said, we must do an online archive for, in French, because the archive movement has already organized to offer online archive, because we have to have archives. And I said, no, I can't, I won't, I shan't. I'm not ready. I didn't feel ready. Because all this computer thing is not my natural habitat. I had to really learn a lot about technology, and I started studying at UCAT in art therapy, and it was all online. So then I learned a lot about Zoom and working that way. And so then eventually I was ready, and I launched an online archive of my own, and I have never looked back because it's still going. It's been on since January of this year. um, and it's I'm finding that it's a different kind of archive, but as inclusive, as necessary, and it gives people um, a different path to their creative self in their own studio. Like we're each in our own alveoli studio, and together we're creating this hive where we create together, and yeah, and create more community. During the summers, Rachel, who is also my neighbor, Rachel Cheney, coordinator of the Art Hive community, uh, said, "Oh, I'd love to have an art hive in this park, but I don't want to do it alone." And I said, "Well, I'd love to do this, but I don't want to do it." And so we collaborated and just spontaneously launched a one-time event at the park, and it was a glorious day, and continued with the different venues that the community, um, and here's my picture again. The community is so rich with possibility to engage, and I have a curious mind, and I like to participate when I can. And so I did during the summer and this venue. We found some yellow tables somewhere. And so a bunch of us said, hey, let's do a collective art hive. And so we did. And Pandora was there, and Sharon, and Rachel, and Mona, and Malaka, and a whole bunch of us. And again, just because we can, we did. And it was great. Um, so now I continue to participate, I continue to facilitate an online archive, in-person archive, and I'm continuously looking for a space because, well, it's not ideal. We don't have windows. COVID has really like constrained us in not very fun way, and so I'm always trying to develop towards the future, and I can count on this community to do that. And so thank you. That's all. That's my, in a nutshell, my story of how I started as a participant and became an active member of the Art Hive community. Agency means that I could do it all on my own, but community taught me that I didn't have to. Even better, I know now, having talked to you today, that even my story contributes, as all stories do, to the big picture that is unraveling as we draw it to life. And so today, on my 56th birthday, I am full of gratitude for this particular storyline, and I feel so privileged to be here and share with you all my story into the Art Hive community. Thank you.